on the 4th of December. Two Davies have just gone live. So
also Facebook out there.
When they come up, we'll see them. Yeah, that's the YouTube one on.
Yeah, we'll get Facebook up and running. Right, that's us public and Facebook.
Good.
Anyway, good afternoon, folks. As Davey said, it's a Monday the 4th of December, 2023. And the weather's got a wee bit better, David. The snow's clearing.
Hi. Yeah.
And Lorna Shields is the first one on her Facebook. Hello, Lorna. Hey, well, we look to see who's in.
Mark Wesley. Thank you, Mark Wesley. I'm not fixed. I'm just here. All right.
Mr. Mad Monk, hi Hugh, Rebecca, DJ, Marty, Suzanne DW. Also we got Margaret Noakes. Hi Margaret. Hey Jared Sherry, hi up. Now let's scroll down. Eddie, Chris, Bullpet, Millie, Sunners. Yeah. D-Doc, Mark, Sandra. We're on Facebook. Let's see who else is on Facebook. Davey Martin. Hi Gillian. Hey, hi Melanie. What else we got? Kirsty. It's quite interesting, David, because although we've got quite a few subscribers, as you know, we're up at, I think it's 1620 now, just over. It's amazing because when I look at the names that pop up in the audience, I bloody know a couple of hundred of them at least, personally. You know?
Not a bad thing.
I met hundreds of them. You know, brilliant thing. Right, hey. Well,
before we start, David, I think it's fair. I've not been here for the last couple of broadcasts, and look, guys, I'm not right. I'm here.
You've been broadcasting for a year. They know you're no fucking right.
Yeah, I'm doing today. That doesn't mean I'll do the next day. It just so happens how bad I feel, right? I'm still on a night. I still got the pencil between my teeth, and I'm still halfway up the wall. But anyway, there you go.
Hey, Andy, Scott, Brian, we weren't going to cover that today, but seeing you brought it up, I'll give you a quick one on it, right? There's a Green Lord, a dame actually, who's going to put a kill clause in on that bill to allow the DWP to inspect people's bank accounts. So, the other thing I want to talk about before we get into the show, David, is this month, folks, we need your approval to do this, but David and I would like to give the charity money to baby banks this month. We have Christmas. So, if you are all right with that, leave a wee comment saying we're in Facebook and on YouTube to say you're all right with us giving your money to baby banks this month. Okay? Because at this time of year, it's very, very difficult for young parents especially those with newborns. So if you don't mind, then we are looking for your approval because baby banks, although it does technically operate as a food bank as well, it's technically they're not just food banks. Yeah. Right. I suppose, where are we? 128 so far in climbing. So I guess we better get this underway. What do you make of Starmer's article in the Telegraph, David?
He's trying to lose the election, I figure. You know what I mean? He's just, now that he's given his let's say, his good grace to Maggie, Queen Maggie, right? You couldn't make it up, honestly. And it's like people in Scotland know what Maggie did, from the poll tax to the closure of the blooming steelworks, the closure of blooming the shipyard, bloody hell, to the mines, the miners, oh bloody hell, the amount of devastation that woman caused. And he's saying, oh, she was a good egg, was Maggie, you know.
Well, technically, that's not what he was actually saying. That
No, effectively he said, I like it that much, I'm going to repeat it. How's about that? Is that not good enough for you, no?
Hey, I think that's approval coming through on the baby bank thing. Great idea, guys, on the baby bank. And it's coming through on Facebook. And so we'll get that organised and get it out to the baby banks this week, David. Okay.
Yep.
Now, thanks very much, Scottish Independence.
Yep.
Now, of course, Starmer, what he was actually talking about prime ministers who had changed things through time. He was talking about Clement Attlee. He was talking about Margaret Thatcher. He was talking about Tony Blair. And now he's talking about himself.
Yes.
He was also throwing red dog whistle meat out to the right wingers with the small votes crap. He confirmed that austerity will continue.
Thank
there
you,
will be no opening of public funds.
Yep.
Thanks, fellas. So, austerity, basically, he's confirming his conservative credentials. You know, basically is that. Simple as that.
Come on, you've been reading all the chit chat that's been going on, right? What does Anna Sarwar think about that?
Scottish Labour politicians have remained silent after Keir Starmer praises Margaret Thatcher and bid to woo Tory voters. First Minister Humza Yousaf was quick to slam the UK Labour leader's comments as an insult to Scottish communities following his comment piece in the Sunday Telegraph. Starmer said the former Tory Prime Minister sought to drag Britain out of its stupor by setting loose their natural entrepreneurialism. Right? The comments prompted fury from SNP politicians on social media, but Scottish Labour MPs and MSPs were noticeably silent on Sunday morning. SNP Westminster Group leader Stephen Flynn challenged Anna Sarwar over whether he supported Starmer's comments. Scottish Labour press office have also not responded to requests from the press for comment. So it's no one doing well. It hasn't went doing well at all.
Thank you, Christina.
Thanks, Alistair. Alistair, sorry. It's a cracker. I mean, he just really is showing that he's moving the Tory party beyond the centre to the right. Sorry, the Labour Party, Red Tories, we should call them.
What he has done is he has thrown Anna Sarwar under the bus.
I know half. And by the way, some of the opinion pieces. Hold on. Thanks, Lenny. Thanks, Christina.
And thanks, John. I'm up in a second. John Wardrop.
Thanks, John. Jesus is flying in the day. Thanks, folks. See the kids, the baby banks will be very, very, very happy with your contributions. But as I say, Sarwar's hiding. One brain cell Bailey, I don't know what, it must be a hell of a big bush she's hiding under, that's for sure. But thanks, Ego Rider.
Careful, that's ad hominem, that is.
Ad hominem, very good. But anyway, the Labour, the so-called Slav Scottish Labour Party, are nowhere to be seen in this one. Absolutely brilliant. But I say, what a stooshie it caused in social media. Some of the, I was watching LBC yesterday on YouTube, and some of the calls coming in, even for Tory voters, giving it, I wouldn't vote for this mob. They're more Tory than I was.
Can you pop up Craig and Lorna? Can you see it coming up here? Craig and Lorna saying, to think I used to vote Labour, thank Christ I woke up.
I see it. Aye.
Pop it up. I mean, that's with myself, I live down in England. So, as you can imagine, it's like I was a socialist. Who do I vote for? Well, there are other parties, but the main parties, you had Tory and you had Labour. And at that time, I was voting Labour when I was down in England. When I came up here, the very first election, I voted SNP. Yeah. Yeah. So, but down in England, it's like, my goodness me. at the time, if you imagine, I was involved with the brother of the agent of Tony Blair in the Sheldon, in my Sheldon office where Tony Blair came from.
Aye.
So
Starmer still has ground to make up with Annis, re-Israel ceasefire. That'll become problematic again. It certainly will.
yeah.
But to be fair, what David keeps saying is, it seems to be true. We'll get to that, Paul. It seems to be true that he started. I think you're right, David. I think he's trying to throw this election.
Yeah,
I genuinely think he's trying to throw this election.
There is nothing clear. The thing is, though, Sunak is doing the same.
Aye, but let's talk about what he said.
It shouldn't be a case of it being called the general election. It should be a case of who doesn't want to win the general election. Which one of you parties wants it the least or wants it most?
But as I say, but let's have a wee look at deeper in what you said about Thatcher. Trying to be fair, he did say try to release her natural entrepreneurism. But Thatcher did none of that. What Thatcher did was sell off all the public assets. To be fair though, and I really want to be fair to Thatcher, there is a couple of industries that did need to be privatised. And your industry, particularly, David, was one of them.
What you're about my industry? What industry am I?
You know what I mean? But at that time you were working back as a telephone engineer.
Yeah.
And by the privatisation of the GPO and the competition being set up in that market means that communications became a lot cheaper.
I cannot agree with you on that. There is no
way. It's just a simple
there is no way that industry benefited by being privatised.
No, I never said the industry, I said the consumer.
Yeah, the consumer never had a good deal with Post Office Telephones or British Telecom or whatever they're called this fucking week, right? Seriously, it didn't make any difference. It was down to the politicians of which direction it went. At one time, it employed 1 million people throughout the UK, and it was number one in the world in terms of the technology that Post Office Telephones commanded, right? And then it all went south because the government did not put in the money necessary to actually make the thing fly. Simple as that.
As I say, people have got different points of view, and from my point of view, it opened up the market and the infrastructure that couldn't have, as you just pointed out, that wouldn't be put in place. And of course, as we know, through that, your business blossomed.
Yeah, okay. I've done work for several of telecom companies, ABC Limited, DEF Limited, you name it. They all came into it, and they were all just wee men that hadn't a bloody clue, and they needed people like me to actually guide them through what they should do to make the system work, right?
Anyway, but he really did change things with the introduction of the social net.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Thatcher was just a vandal, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, she was.
Tony Blair was just a bloody warmonger, as far as I'm concerned. And the changes that Tony Blair made were some of the worst Tory changes that we've ever seen. He actually taxed the middle classes to make up the wages of those in the lowest income, so that those who ran the firms didn't have to pay people a decent fucking wage.
Right.
That was vandalism in the tax system.
Tax credits to a private business owner, and I'm talking of any size, is fantastic. You pay your staff buttons, and what happens is the UK government, through the taxpayer, is to make up the wage to something that somebody can live on. That is wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. It's morally wrong. It's ethically wrong. It's just fucking wrong, right?
Yeah, as I say, but these people that Starmer named as being changes, prime ministers that made a change. The only one that made a positive change was Attlee. The rest of them have been bloody vandals, thieves, and crooks.
Now, who is it that brought forth the National Health Service?
Who was it? Broke forward.
Aye.
I think the very first one was here in the Highlands of Scotland.
Yes, it was. And that's what I was going to point out. The very first National Health Service was in the Highlands in Scotland.
That's right.
I remember helping out to write a paper on it way back. This is a run up to, I think it's 2012 actually, right? And everybody looks at it as being Labour that did it. No, they didn't.
Right, Helen's given us a segue right into our next subject, and that is Scottish councils apparently are facing bankruptcy, David.
You've gone a wee bit over there, Helen. It's 14.4 billion.
14.4 billion, but we'll get to that. Anyway, apparently Cosler says there's a funding gap and that our councils are in trouble. Now, this is the first I've heard this, but this happens to be coming on the back of countless councils doing that road going bust. The latest one being Nottingham to issue a 114 order, because councils technically can't become bankrupt. Now, the 114 order means that they're only going to provide statutory services, which means that places like Nottingham, Birmingham, will lose their leisure facilities, their libraries, they still have to provide nursery care and things like that because they're statutory.
As far as the councils are concerned, if you figure that Scotland has got 32 councils, big ones, little ones, and what Cosler are saying is, quick, give us 14.4 billion with a B, 14.4 billion. Otherwise, it's all going tits up, right? And that's just wrong. Why is it everything in my world? Is it me? Is it down to me? Is the universe turned itself on me and shown me that everything in this world is going wrong? I don't know.
Aye. Now, people seem very interested. David, we better dip into this one now. The new digital bill, the bill, basically, new digital and technologies bill. They've got an amendment in it to allow the Department of Work and Pensions. This one is obviously really annoying people here. It's to allow the Department of Work and Pensioners to monitor bank accounts and have a look at where people are accessing money or spending money. In fact, one of the viewers here, Aki's, we were talking about this, and apparently the Department of Work and Pensions want access to his PayPal account to see if he's got a side hustle on the go.
Right, well,
you know, and that's what this is all about now. Green Baroness she's going to put a kill clause on it in the Lords. And I'll get the details up. Seen people are interested in it. I'm not getting it. I've not got time to go look for it. Anyway, as I say, one of the Green peers is going to put a kill clause on it in the Lords. Whether that happens or no, we'll have to wait and see.
The problem is now, David, right? That if we consider it's a May election, right? There's now not the time to sensibly get this through. There might be things of emergency legislation that they're going to bring through, and what happens is everybody just dives on that one thing.
Right.
When we look at all these different things, you just look at it and you go, nah, there's no way.
Well, the other thing with this bill is it's basically a crackdown on freedom of speech, and it could make this sort of broadcast very, very difficult, David.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, back to the councils. They say every weekend, down that road, they're discussing the chances of another 12 of these councils down the road declaring this week that they're putting out 114 orders this week.
David, when you consider, we discussed this before, on a high year, right? where lots was given through Barnett consequentials. We figured it cost 41 billion to run the whole of fucking Scotland.
That's right.
So therefore, the councils want a third of the amount of money it takes to run the whole of Scotland to fill their bloody pockets, right?
No, but this is an additional 14.4 billion they want, David.
Yes, I know that.
Where does it come from when you've got a fixed budget of 41.6 billion to run the country?
So therefore, we need to be asking the question of,
Madam Director, can I get a coffee, please?
all right, guys, what's this money about? And why do you want so much? Because I'll tell you what, we're going to start asking questions of you, and we need real answers. What do you spend it on? You need that kind of money.
Actually, Mark's found the green peer that's going to put a kill bill on this thing. It's Natalie Bennett is moving a fatal motion in the Lords against the anti-strike regulation. I thought it was this one as well. Oh well. I guess I'm not getting a coffee, Madam Director. Oh well. Right, so that's the council. So apparently, Scottish councils are facing the same thing as English councils, and that is highly possible. Let's face it. If the Scottish government's funding comes to central government in London, and the councils in Scotland's funding comes to central government here in Scotland. So there is a correlation. As the Scottish government's budget becomes less, then what they can give to the councils. Throw in high inflation, high energy costs, and budgets are just not going as far as they used to.
Yeah.
You know? Right, just a wee lighter mode. Bye-bye pandas. And
you've got to put the names up going.
Yang Yang and Ting Ting or something like that?
No, I'll have a go. Yang Yang and Tian Tian. Tian Tian is...
Anyway, apparently these black and white teddy bears that weigh a ton and a half are getting on a plane this morning heading back to bamboo country where they belong. You know, I mean, David, you and I have discussed this before, and it's just a case of they should never be in bloody zoos in the first place.
I know. I think the reason that they're not doing well is they're not in their natural habitat. Animals should not be in a zoo. It's as simple as that. I don't care who you are, what your argument is. It's shite. The animals are there to earn money. They're there for people to go in, pay money to get their kids to, and show them, oh, there's a chimpanzee, and wee Johnny, there's a lion. And I remember in the Edinburgh Zoo taking my wee in and showing her the lion, and he looked sorry for himself. What a shame. And they talk about, well, it's for the preservation of the breed and all the rest of it. The breed happens out in the blooming Serengeti or whatever it is, right?
I want to address this one. Shamrock Jerry has said reunification of Ireland is now on the cards. I'll give you a wee heads up here, Shamrock Jerry. It's been on the cards for the last 30 years. That was the whole idea of the Good Friday Agreement. Getting up peace there to allow natural progression to take place.
When is the next, David, you might know this, I don't know, when's the next 7-year drop when they can actually have a border poll?
They can have it any time they had a 7-year drop yet.
I thought
they asked the question yet.
Yeah, I thought it was actually properly working on 7 years.
Aye, but 7 years for the first time the question's asked.
Right.
The question's not been asked yet.
Right, got you. Fine, that clears that up.
I mean, Shamrock Jerry's saying it's now on the cards.
Yeah.
That's what the Good Friday Agreement was for.
Yeah.
The Catholic population now outweighs the Protestant population, which is the divide they keep talking about, the sectarian divide. And because of 30 years of peace, the kids don't care about that crap anymore. You know what I mean? What we've got is a bunch of old dinosaurs in Northern Ireland who are holding the whole place back.
Not everybody in Northern Ireland that is Protestant is in with the blooming Orange Order.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying, but we've got a bunch of dinosaurs out there holding Northern Ireland back. And it's also been touted that Stormont will be up and running again this week or next week.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Because that wasn't what didn't sound like when I heard Arlene Foster on GBBs.
It's a shame. I hate to see the people of Northern Ireland treated in this way. They should have a working parliament working for them. They're not getting it. They're not getting it because a wee shite for the DUP or whoever, whatever they're called this week, is women saying, no, we're not allowing it.
John, you're right. John, you're right. It is up to the Northern Ireland Secretary. It's within his gift to grant. In other words, they could block it. Now let's move on to Mike Russell, because it's bye-bye to him and all.
Aye, but he's not heading to China, is he?
No, he's not going to China. He's going to Land Reform Scotland.
Much needed. It's a very, very important thing. Land reform in Scotland, we're not going to explain it to you here and now. We do suggest that you Google it. If you don't know about it, find out, because it is going to become a major talking point as we approach our independence. People have got to realise what is actually possible, what's going to be possible when Scotland becomes independent.
Anyway, Mike was party president for 2020, as we know. Mike's also been the chief executive for a short period. He was also education secretary. And as I say, is hoping to move to a new role as chair of the Scottish Land Commission. Land Commission. Something which needs to be approved by the Scottish Parliament first. He has served as SNP president since 2020. Russ has been a cabinet minister across various roles, including education and the Constitution. In 1994, he became SNP's first full-time chief executive before stepping down in 1999. He later lost his seat in Holyrood in 2003, returning in 2007 to 2011. And at the 2011 Holyrood election, he became MSP for Argyll Bute, but retired in 2021. He's also briefly served as interim chief executive of the SNP earlier this year, following Peter Miller's resignation. First Minister Humza Yousaf declares Russell as a party stalwart. He said, on behalf of the SNP, I'd like to give my heartfelt thanks to Michael for his outstanding contribution to the party over almost 5 decades. Obviously, David, Mike's been around for as long as forever, actually, in the SNP. And to be fair, we wish him well on this new endeavour if he gets approval from the Scottish Parliament. I could see the cuckoos in the nest putting up a fight against this one. But
I hope he gets the green light off of the SNP, and that's he actually takes over in terms of the land reform.
Well, it needs vacancy for president.
Yeah.
Will we throw will I throw my hat in the ring?
Go on. Yeah.
We need to find out what the process is for selecting the new president. So Mike's standing down basically frontline politics after 50 years. And he's got an interest in land reform. The Land Commission Scotland is a good place for him to be. He's got a great head on his shoulders, very clever man, very diplomatic man. So, aye.
He is a proper academic. I hope you know that.
Aye. We wish him well. And it had to be mentioned. I suppose, we're at it, we better mention that Glenys Kinnock's kicked the bucket and all.
Yes. Okay. I think somebody would have had to be heavily into Labour to be affected by that. But I suppose there are politicians within the Labour Party that would like. She's probably a very nice lassie. I didn't know her. I didn't know of her. So therefore, it's hey-ho,
Well, what we can say about the Kinnocks is they're building political dynasties. I believe their son's a politician and all now.
That's right.
Glenys Kinnock, a former MEP, minister, and wife of ex-Labour leader. And apparently she was a proud Democrat. Anyway, she's passed away. And obviously her son and her husband will be feeling it. So condolences to them.
Yep.
So we've mentioned it, so that's that out the road. A bit like Alistair Darling last week, it's been mentioned, let's move on. But this is what's needing to happen in Northern Ireland and all. All these old dinosaurs need to peg it. Let the young go on. You know.
Yeah.
Right, Sunak at COP26. When did you make it?
Oh, for goodness sake. He was there for how long? 11 hours?
The end of the morning of the first day.
And we had King Big Ears. We had the unelected Lord Cameron, the Foreign Secretary, and Rishi Sunak. They all took a private jet. They didn't just take one private jet, they took a fucking trip, they took a private jet each. Right? Is that not taking the piss or what, guys? Yeah? It's just, you know, the reason that Sunak lasted only for 11 hours is because basically he got embarrassed out of the place.
Yes, yes, that's
you know.
And we know why. New oil licenses opening a deep coal mine in Cumbria. One of the things that was pledged no today, COP26, Sunak's done it.
Huh?
You know, so basically he was laughed out the building. And while King Big was giving his speech, Foreign Secretary Cameron in the background was doing oil deals.
Yeah.
Talk about
but King Big Ears was the one saying, "Oh, I've followed green issues for a lot of my life, and I'm very, very concerned." A few weeks ago, he was actually sat in his throne with his fucking big crown on, saying, "My government will open as many licenses in the North Sea as possible." Right?
Apparently, or around every year, apparently. So much running.
Please explain to me how somebody with half a brain, which he obviously doesn't, can stand up in front of COP28 and say, "I've been involved in green issues practically all my life," and it's like he does that. He's actually in charge of it. You know, he's basically the throne that keeps Westminster going, and he's actually telling people, "Oh, I'm very, very green," when in fact his government aren't.
And as Charlie points out, Big Ears Sausage Fingers was wearing a tie in support of Greece. Apparently, after the Prime Minister had refused to meet with the Greek Prime Minister because of the Elgin marbles, or the Parthenon marbles as they're better known. But see, so
while we're on that subject, give them back.
Aye.
Seriously.
Give it all back.
Seriously.
Empty the so-called British Museum and give it all bloody back to where it came from.
Do I know something? See all these various exhibits, right? We're now at a stage now where they can actually take a three-dimensional figure of it, right? And actually grow it inside a machine that will actually give you the shape of whatever it is, and send back the original to the place where it came from, the rightful owners.
I mean,
yeah.
You could, with modern technology, the marbles, for example, you could have them X-rayed, have them done all sorts of ways, and then just get one of these big, what do you call it, plastic printing machines or whatever they're called, 3D printers, and just print up a replica and send the real ones back.
That's right. Okay. But I mean, even down to paintings. I mean, I saw the Mona Lisa, right? And we all looked at it, and it was about your own size, right? By your own size. And you think with the amount of kudos that painting's got, it would have been an entire wall, but it's not. It's just a wee tiny painting.
Anyway, let's get back.
And they've got a copy of it, so that they don't have the original up all the time. So
that's enough about the stupid marbles and photos. They can fight over them in their own time. Let's get back to COP28. Now, while Big Lugs, Lord Ho-Ho, and Fishy all take private planes, private limousines, what does Humza Yusuf get attacked for here in the press? With his attendance at COP26?
For his air miles.
For racking up his air miles, aye. Racking up. I don't think who's a chartered a private plane?
Was that Daily Record?
Aye.
Again, was it?
Aye.
In fact, it's listening or not. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the Daily Record should be fucking ashamed of bringing up a thing like that when we've got King Big Ears, Rishi Sunak, and Lord Bloomin' Cameron, the Foreign Secretary, each taking a private jet to Dubai. You know, the Daily Rancid is what it should be called. Should be hanging its head in shame.
You know, we need to come up with a proper name for Cameron. So how about Lord Pig's Trotters or something like that, you know? Oh, Pig's Paws, that's it. Lord Pig Paws. Now we've got it. So that's Cameron's new nickname, Lord Pig Paws. Hey. But to see what was interesting is while Charles is giving the speech, the politicians, including Lord Pig Paws, are in the background doing grubby deals for fossil fuels. The same thing that the president of COP28 has been accused of. What's his name again? Sultan Al Jaber. So it would appear the COP28 went to saving the planet to selling oil. Yeah. It's a farce. An absolute farce.
Oh, hey, without doubt, we are all fucked.
Aye.
Sorry, guys. You heard it here first. We are all fucked.
Right.
But as long as these bastards are blooming doing their silly little blooming jobs, little purchases underneath the table, that's what you're looking forward to. Your Waynes are going to have a dreadful future.
Hey, Rwanda's back in the spotlight. James Cleverly to go to Rwanda, meant to be the day, I don't know if it's happening, to sign a new international treaty to declare Rwanda a safe place for poor. For people who are seeking asylum here in the UK to go and get their claims processed. Now, apparently, in this treaty, it does say that the ones who are successful will be sent back to the UK. We all know that's not going to happen.
But the most important thing to remember is everybody's looking at, was it 40-odd thousand, 50,000 people that haven't been processed yet? But we're talking about Rwanda, and it's a matter of principle for the Tory government, and they're talking about 200 people. Come on.
Aye.
Away.
200 people. And this is supposed to be the Tories' victory. You know, we did it, even though the court said we can't. What we're seeing is the rule of law undermined here. You know,
can I just pop something up? There you are, David. Just pop that on, would you? Get it in.
Aye, sure. Oh, there you go.
Look at it, guys. Look at that face. Would you buy a second-hand used car for that guy? No way. And that's our Home Office Minister. And he is going to actually send solicitors or lawyers to Rwanda to do the processing of people across there, just in order to get round what the Supreme Court have ordered.
It's better than that, David, because the Rwandan courts, where they're processing these things here, right, in Rwanda, there means there'll be no right to appeal the way you would have in the UK.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there would be no right to appeal under the human rights laws or nothing. But as I say, this Rwanda thing is it's mental, and it's another thing that when the Supreme Court made its ruling, they should have just said that's it. It's not going to work. Sunak had the opportunity to walk away.
No, but the most important thing is this figure of 200 people. Are we really, as a country, throwing that much money at keeping 200 people or getting 200 people out of Britain? Don't be daft. What are you playing at? What on earth are any of you playing at? If that's what your guiding principle is.
It's just mental, isn't it? Hey, I see Jim Keaton's popped in. Hi, Jim. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. I'm sorry to hear the story you were managing shut down. Anyway,
yeah. So Chris says rendition flights. They're going to get tortured as well.
And you're right, Robert, it is about cash for Tories.
Of course it is.
And I've seen
I say, when you look at things like this, you shouldn't be looking at whether it's right or wrong and all the rest of it. You should be looking at where the Tories are siphoning the money out into their own pockets. You know, let just look at that for what it is.
In Rwanda, the Tories will be making money out of the building of the villages that these people are supposed to occupy.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll make money out of the court cases when they try to appeal, and the Rwandan courts just veto it. So there's money there.
It's just money making. Follow the money, always.
But Tories, Tories and Labour especially, aye. Now, COVID inquiry, I suppose, David.
Oh. Right. Go on then. You have your.
Well, what we've learned, never mind the stuff about dodgy text messages and let the bodies pile high and things like that. The real thing that's interested me so in the last couple of weeks is the contempt for the Scots, Welsh and Northern Irish people. The contempt for devolution, which we knew was there with the Tories. You know, we always known that Tories were against devolution for the very reasons that they knew that it would bring us to the position we're in at the moment, where there is a fight for independence on the go.
Yeah.
I mean, devolution was supposed to kill off the desire for independence. But when we've seen what it is that devolution has been able to do for Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, then of course, when you get that wee bit of power, like most people, you want the rest of it to go with it.
Yeah.
But what we have learned for the COVID inquiry is the absolute contempt. And this isn't just coming from the devolved administrations of Scotland, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. It's also coming from the devolved administrations in England. The mayor of Liverpool, the mayor of London, the mayor of Manchester, they're all saying they were kept out the loop.
Yeah. The one positive thing that's come out of the UK COVID inquiry was when Professor Chris Whitty was questioned, and what he said was the one thing that could always rely on was the Scottish reporting system within the NHS. And you could absolutely rely on it being accurate, being full, being data rich. And he said that it was the best in the UK, and it was the one that they actually referred to all the time, him and his opposite numbers. So that's good. That now tells us that Scotland has been going the right direction, right? Yep. Whereas England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and also other European nations have been going the wrong way by not reporting things. And that's why Scotland ended up with a situation where they were saying, oh, look at the number of COVID people that have got COVID in Scotland compared to the rest of the United Kingdom. In actual fact, it was just the fact that our doctors and the rest that were properly reporting what killed people. Whereas down in England, if somebody pegged out because of COVID, they were actually saying on the part, was it pneumonia or whatever it was, right? Absolutely shocking. Shocking. That's the lesson that should be learned by everybody.
Sharon, no being nice. It's just there's no mechanism obvious for doing this. That's what's going to be worked out, and it's going to be worked out so it's accepted by the international community.
Am I missing somebody?
It's a comment I put up. Sharon saying, stop messing about, let's just take back control for Westminster. It's not a case of that. It's a case of it's going to be done in such a way that the international community will accept it.
Yeah.
Right, smart meters, David. You get an interest in this one, but because it's a live case, you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I can say bits, but effectively, I've had a case running with the Ombudsman now for a few months, and okay, it's good news, but I can't say it, right? However, what I will say is, there are the smart meters. It's now official that there is quite a good proportion of them that are faulty. Yeah, especially
one in 10 actually apparently are faulty.
Especially the first version of them. They've got an internal fault supposedly, right? Now, you see there's a lot behind me here, right? I rely on that to actually do what I do. I'm a sound engineer. And I've got meters, all kinds of meters, right? And the meters, when I go and buy them, it cost me a huge amount of money, right? And they are calibrated when I get them, and I've got a calibration certificate that goes with each one of them. But they're only good for a couple of years. Within a couple of years, the internal components have changed slightly, right? So therefore, they need recalibrating, and I send them away to a calibration service. Cost me a lot of money yet again. It's got to be done. Now, what happens with that wee smart meter that's charging you money every month? What happens to that after a few years of it being in?
Nothing.
The internal components are going to change, same as they are in my expensive meters, and maybe it'll charge you more or it'll charge you less. I was reading one particular circumstance where there's a woman who reckons the £2 that she's being charged for electricity each month is wrong. But the majority of the cases are where people are getting overcharged.
Jim, we've already had a wee delve into the Tories' plans to spy on a bank account. So, it's coming through in the digital bill. So, as I say, I thought the Green Bee was there Green Lord was there to kill this one. Apparently, it's the anti-strike law she's trying to kill.
Right. But what do you figure with the smart meters, David?
Well, I think the wee woman that's only paying £2 a month for a watch, I wouldn't complain about that one.
I wouldn't have said a word.
You're right.
I came stum about that, yeah.
But 30 million of these things out there, right? 2 million or so of them, apparently, knackered.
Yeah.
Kaput, just faulty.
For various, be careful with the wording of that, okay? It's the saying that they are knackered is for various reasons. The very, very first phase of them that came out, you can imagine that people have maybe changed suppliers, and now that supplier is unable to link to that meter and do the automatic thing of saying how much you get charged, right? That doesn't say that the meter is accurate. It doesn't at all. The meter could be running away with your money, no bother. If you feel you've got a problem, you contact your energy supplier in the first instance and you raise an official complaint. As simple as that. And once you've had an official complaint in place for, I think it's 8 weeks, and they haven't done anything about it, and I mean done anything about it properly, in my case, it was getting a check meter fitted, which they weren't able to do for some reason, right? Then you go to the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman then takes up your case and forces them to do what they're supposed to do, send you an apology letter, and quite often he makes a claim on your behalf and says to the energy company, you have to pay this person so much money because of what you haven't done. So, but I can't say any more than that. All right.
Aye, well, anyway, so what we know now is that 1/10 of these, so more or less 3 million of them are faulty. Yeah. Which means you're either paying too much or too little. So if you've got one of these smart meters, and you think you're paying too much, raise a complaint.
Yeah. I say the simple way to find out if you're paying too much is look down your street, look at the house that's got similar setup to yourself, maybe 2 adults and 2 wains, right? And go to the front door and say, look, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I think I'm getting charged far too much for my electric or my gas. And I notice that you've got electric gas, you've got similar setup in your house as to what I've got, and actually discuss it with them, and they'll probably tell you how much they're paying. So, and then you can look at that and you go, jings, that's half of what I'm paying. Then it's a good bet there's something awry. Okay.
Aye. See, Nathan was asking if this digital bill coming through, which would allow them to spy on bank accounts of the poor, the disabled, and the unemployed.
Undoubtedly.
All nations.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, they'll take every opportunity they can, and you know who they are, right? They'll take every opportunity they can to have a look inside your bank account. But I tell you what, I want to look inside theirs. Something like that. You look at mine, that's fine, that's okay, but I want to look at all of yours if you're bringing this into being. So why are our politicians just sitting on their hands and letting this happen? Should not be. Something like that.
Right, well, electricity pricing has been a subject that's been brought up with the SNP in Parliament over the last couple of days.
Yep.
The last couple of days of last week. Pointing out how we produce huge amounts of it, overproduce actually, and yet we've got the highest bills. Right, this one's come up in the comments and all, David.
Just a wee second, right? In Europe, this happened in Europe a few years back when they started putting out the smart meters. People were complaining, and what happened was it was the universities that took up the case and started testing people's meters. They would go in to the house, they would replace the meter, take their meter away, and actually put it under proper test conditions. And it's the universities in Europe that have been the good guys. And I don't know why our universities don't do the same. Come on, guys. Strathclyde Uni, I know you've got a department there, you could easily deal with it.
Aye, they could. But how does it affect their funding? What do you sponsors fee and funding fee energy policies?
No, but I really don't think that should be anything to do with their funding whatsoever.
No, what these universities are sponsored by companies and things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one's come up in the comments, David. BBC licensing round.
Yep.
They want the BBC want a £15 increase. Culture Secretary doing that road said no. Sunak said no because it cost a living crisis. So the BBC are in crisis. Yes! Massive cuts everywhere. That means we'll get so much propaganda pumped into our houses.
Does that mean I'll miss my EastEnders now? They're going to take it off my telly.
I have no idea.
No, that's the sort of thing that was coming up. You know, when we were going for the last referendum, people were saying, oh, jings, if we become independent, we won't see EastEnders anymore.
Yep.
You know.
I remember that. It turns out it's cheaper to buy it to the BBC than to buy your TV licence for Scotland.
Yep.
Anyway, as I say, it started a hell of a stooshy, and it's going to lead to downsizing of the corporation, which is great. As far as I'm concerned, it's great.
Yeah. If it curls up and dies, will I miss it? No. It's a shame because there are some good things in the BBC on the entertainment side, but what spoils it is the fact that they are the number 10 Downing Street propagandist. Yeah?
I don't know if there's anything good on it. I haven't looked at TV for years, as you know.
Well, okay.
But, as I say, apparently they're making cuts of 500 million, and the news outputs going to be one of the ones that are getting the biggest cut. And they're going to scrap investigative journalism. They haven't done any in years. Unless they wanted to slur somebody.
Yeah.
Or a political party like the SNP.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on because time is getting on. This one, immigration hike to minimum salary from 26,200 to 38,000. And crack down on health workers bringing their families with them if they get in. Now, basically, David, this is an assault on healthcare.
Yeah, but it's not just an assault on healthcare. It's an assault on everybody that's maybe want to come into the country and earn a living. If they come to Scotland, the chances are they won't make that 38,000 break to get a visa. Because we tend to have a smaller pay packet given out, right? Whereas down in London or around about London or the rest of it, they'd be more likely to breach that 38,000.
Right.
So it is an attack on everybody that possible one. I mean, Sunak, what he's doing is he's getting Cameron to go and do a deal with the Indian government so that they do a deal to get as many people through the door of the UK as they can. Now, okay, for IT experts, which there'll probably be masses of them coming in, 38,000 is nothing. Definitely down in London.
Anyways, Sunak's under pressure for the right wing and the Tory party doing an immigration. This is his answer.
Yeah, the reason why it's an attack on the NHS, David, is because what they're doing is they're saying to maybe doctors coming in or people that are maybe consultant level or whatever, right, we'll allow you and your wife to come in, but your wains, no, you're not getting wains in. So they're cutting down on them, bringing relatives with them. Yeah.
That's the same for students as well. But what you're going to get is there's not going to be anybody coming. Yeah. Especially in the poorer areas, as you pointed out, where salaries won't meet the cap. So that's his idea of cutting immigration. It will work, but it will kill off vital public services here, like health and social care.
Yeah.
And that's just a continued assault on the healthcare service. Now, as we know, they've got plans to introduce, what was the name of? No, it doesn't matter. 500 of these so-called doctors that are no doctors to try and relieve the pressure down that road and things like that. We covered that already. I can't take a look back. But the biggest, as I say, the area that will be impacted the most is the area of social health and social care. And as we know, they want to dismantle the NHS. This is another way of dismantling the NHS, because the NHS will not be able to get the staff it requires.
Right. Yep.
And the 38,000 cap.
Right.
That calls off an awful lot of areas of need getting the employees in, like the agricultural sector, like logistics, So, and as we've just spoken about health and social care. So if you're not a middle manager or above, you're not getting in. And even if you're a middle manager or above, or a wealthy student, you're not bringing your family.
Yeah.
So it's going to hit the university sector, as we've already said, health and social care. So education, health, social care, logistics, agricultural sector. They're basically assets that they're in. And this is a Scots Earth policy on the way out the door of the Tories.
It's all wrong. It's all going wrong. And it's like we can only watch it, right? Now, before time gets on very long, because our hour's nearly up, we've got item 10, which is Gaza. We have to mention it because of, obviously, the Israelis are back in carpet bombing, but this time what they're doing is they're bombing Khan Yunis, which is right in the bottom end of Gaza. And also we're looking at quite a lot of things happening with the military, and it's almost like a ping pong session with blooming missiles and blooming drones getting flown into ships and all the rest of it, right? Well, it's not looking good, guys. And the British military have sent a Type 46 destroyer.
Type 45 destroyer.
Type 45 destroyer, that is there. Yeah. To the area to the east of Suez. Now, that's very nicely put in, east of Suez. People will go, where's that? I'll tell you where east of Suez is. East of Suez is near to Gaza, right? It's just one big beach that goes all the way along, right? And it's like, if they're there and they're armed to actually send missiles up, who are they going to use the missiles on? What's going to happen here, right? And is this mission creep? Yes, it definitely is. Who's in charge of it? Grant Shapps, who is the defence minister. Defence coming out, right? Defence Secretary, sorry. So this is a big mission creep, and also we've sent up our version of our spy plane, which is going to like fly over Gaza over and over and over to try and figure out where the Hamas people are and where the hostages are. To be honest with you, it's possible that they could use some method to see if there's human beings underground. Possible. Is it going to tell you what their political persuasion is? I don't think so. Is it going to tell you what race they are? No, it's not. Is it going to tell you what country they come from? No. So therefore, sending in that really isn't worth anything. And basically, if they hand that information to the Israelis go, oh, there's a load of people like 30 foot underground. Well, now the Israelis have got the bunker busters, the daisy cutters that they're being sent by America. And what do they?
Don't forget the UK too. The reason why these two merchant ships, UK registered merchant ships, have been attacked is basically because they've been delivering ammunition and weapons. But the one that chills me is this one. Mossad assassins have now had their sights on Hamas leaders worldwide. So Israel is about to start hunting down Palestinian men right across the globe and killing them. And other countries.
If Israel wanted the leader of Hamas, right, all they've got to do is take a plane to blooming Qatar. He's living there in 5-star accommodation, seemingly. So really, I don't know what the problem is,
Well, the problem is there are certain organisations that support the Palestinian people who have been basically called Hamas, and some innocent Palestinian men and women scattered across the world are about to get the dogs of war set loose on them. But no in Gaza, no in Palestine, but in everybody else's bloody country. So Israel's exporting their fight to the rest of it.
Yep.
Thanks, Shuggy.
Yeah, Mad Monk, he's now given £5.
Aye, thanks you. Anyway, as I say, that one chills me. Because
a lot of people as well.
It's going to bring the bloodshed to places like Scotland, England.
I've got an uneasy feeling that this is what we're seeing, things starting to rack up in the Middle East. And it's like, at the moment, it's like it's a tinderbox. And it could go.
As I say, the Israelis have got all the advantage in this situation. They have an army, they have an air force. They have assassination squads who are about to be set loose around the world. And of course, they're using artificial intelligence and all. And as I've said before, artificial intelligence isn't intelligent because the monkeys that created it aren't fucking intelligent. But the onslaught has begun again. The humanitarian pause is over. The Gazan people have had their mental torture dished out in the form of a wee bit water, a wee bit medicine, a wee bit electricity, a wee bit of food. It's all been shut off again and the horror starts all over again.
Yeah, that's the one thing. If I ever met Starmer, I'd go, right, you've had your humanitarian pause. Yeah. Sad bastard, you. What now? What now?
Aye, David. As I say, and now they've started on southern Gaza. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know. That's Khan Yunis. That's. But they were talking about that back before the beginning of the pause.
Yeah, remember what Minister's family is.
Yeah, I heard a few interviews of people in the Israeli government, right? If you can stand to listen to them, right? And they were talking about Khan Yunis as being where they reckon Hamas were actually. They said it was underneath that hospital in the north of Gaza, and then they changed their tune and said, "Oh, it's at Khan Yunis down in the south."
No, but as I say, they're taking it out of Israel now, and they're sending the death squads out to other parts of the world. Now, we have to, David, because we don't want the programme taken down, caveat this by very carefully saying that we do not condone what happened when Hamas committed the atrocity in Israel. We don't condone terrorism of any form whatsoever.
David,
David, let me finish here, because this is a YouTube thing. They're taking down videos like this. We don't condone what Hamas did. We do not condone terrorism. But at the same time, we must be critical of what Israel is doing now.
As terrorism.
Because the reaction by Israel is over the top. And what worries me is it looks like they're going for a wipeout of the people in the Gaza Strip. And now it looks as if they're sending the death squads out into the wider world to do away with stragglers. Isn't they maybe just be intent on wiping the Palestinian people out altogether? You know? But as I say, in order for this video to stay up, we had to put that in. Because I've heard about videos being pulled down because people are absolutely repulsed at the reaction from Israel. You know, and the genocide, the continued genocide in the Gaza Strip.
Well, my take on this is roughly that during the Second World War, the Germans went in and occupied France, right? The French army and all this that were basically gone. De Gaulle headed for the UK, was there in exile, right? And then we had the rise of the French resistance, right? We've all seen the movies and all the rest of it, right? Does that mean the French resistance were to be classed as terrorists? Or were they freedom fighters? I really think that anybody that has a problem with what Hamas did, I don't like to see anybody innocent being harmed.
I have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't. I have absolutely, totally. I hate the idea of any innocent person being attacked by a military group, whatever. But still, in all, you've got to understand that Israel are the occupiers, and for a country that effectively is held under occupation, they have to have the right in order to fight against the occupier. Yeah. So therefore, Israel
having the right term. Stand against the occupier. I mean, look what we're doing here in Scotland.
Right. David, you know I'm right.
Okay. No, listen, this is something else I want to point out. This is the first time in history that I can think of where a terrorist group has made an attack on a people, and rather than try to round up the terrorists, the civilians have been punished collectively too.
Correct. So wrong.
You know,
it's a war crime. Simple as that.
But we could prattle on about this all day and whatever.
And what Hamas did right back at the start, the 7th of October, was also a war crime because they targeted innocent civilians. Yeah, and simple as that. But you look at
generally when there's a terrorist incident, then the authorities get involved. They track down the people who committed that terrorist incident. They don't bomb an open prison and kill civilians at the same time.
Correct.
Well, as I say, I do not condone what Hamas did. We don't condone it. We've got to make that clear, otherwise the video can get taken down. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the situation that exists there, as you say, resistance. Resistance is important. Yeah. We don't agree with violent resistance. Civil disobedience.
No, we do in that situation right now, where the Israelis are doing a ground attack into Gaza. If the fighters in Hamas are taking them on face to face, as far as I'm concerned, that's resistance the way it should be. Not attacking innocents, but attacking combatants.
That's right. Aye. But at the same time, when you look at the situation you're talking about, then the so-called resistance are actually just fighting for survival.
Yeah.
The survival of their people. Whether Hamas had committed this incident on October 7th or no, Israel has been creeping and creeping and creeping. And the people of Gaza, they want them gone. And we know why. But we're going to round this one up now, David.
Okay.
And we'll go on to getting this money out to baby banks for this month. And we want to thank you all for agreeing to let us do that. We'll get back to food banks in January. So, listen, folks, these are the subjects that we decided to talk about because these are the subjects that are in the news. You know, it's been a bit wide and varied chat today. Comments have been good. Sorry we can't bring in more comments because, well, let's face it, there's 212 people typing away here. You know, it's very hard to keep up with. But once again, if you like what we do, please hit the like button on YouTube, subscribe, and because it helps the algorithm, it also helps us make more advertising revenue to give to food banks and baby banks. If you're on Facebook, please share across, and on YouTube, please share across your social media platform. You like what we do. I think that about covers it.
Just about. So it leaves us just one thing to say. Bye, guys.